If you're coming to Barcelona this June of 2025, in this video we're going to break down all the activities that are going on throughout the month. We've got all sorts of concerts and music festivals, some pretty cool celebrations, one of my favorite holidays, my birthday, and so much more. So stick around so you can find out what to do in June of 2025. But before we get into all the details about the events and activities that are taking place in Barcelona this June, remember that this video is only focusing on those things that are taking place this month. If you've got all sorts of questions before you get here, or even questions while you're here about what you can do in Barcelona, I've taken all the information that I've learned in 15 years of working and living in Barcelona, 10 years as a guide, and I've thrown it into my Patrick Guide to Barcelona. It's included with a Google map to help you get to some of my favorite restaurants and attractions, and also some pro tips to let you know what's really worth it while you're here. Use the link in the description below to download that, or use the QR code that'll appear, hopefully, just right there, and take the guide with you. It's like traveling with me in Barcelona and having me in your pocket. That's kind of weird. I wouldn't really fit in your pocket, but you get what I mean. Now get the guide. It's just like traveling with me in Barcelona. Now honestly, June is one of the best months to come and visit Barcelona. Yes, it is the high season and you're gonna see more and more people coming into the city as the month progresses, but remember that the school year doesn't end until about that third week of June. So you're not gonna see the city as packed and you can still take advantage. I always recommend getting those tickets in advance, especially at places like the Sagrada Familia or Park Güell, where we've already seen tickets running out 3 or 4 weeks ahead of time. So those are the specific places, and any others that you know you want to go to for sure, to really plan around and then have some more free time for other activities. Weather-wise, this is one of the best months to come, where you do have a mix of those spring and summer temperatures. Now, the average highs are probably around 25 degrees, 77 Fahrenheit, and the average lows at 18 or 64 Fahrenheit, which means you're gonna have a little bit of a fluctuation, but you have that time to get outside and really spend it outside and taking advantage and seeing a lot more of Barcelona. Remember that when you're coming over in the summer, you do have those long Spanish summer days where a lot of times that sun's not even gonna set until 9 p.m., allowing you to see even more of the activities. And that's why a lot of these events that are going on, be it festivals for music or festivals within the different neighborhoods, are gonna be geared to a lot of those outside activities. You've got all sorts of different things that are popping up that you're gonna be able to get out and stay into the evening to really enjoy those brisker temperatures, which is just such a good time to be over here in Barcelona. Now, the first of the major events that's taking place in the month of June is right away on June 1st. We've got the race for the Spanish Grand Prix, which unfortunately might be the last Grand Prix held in Barcelona, as it's moving over to Madrid for 2026. If you want to get those tickets, they've been sold out for a while now, but as we get closer, you might be able to get some of those last minute tickets or resales to get to that race day. This is a huge mega event that takes place just on the outside of Barcelona, but one that is always a lot of fun. I've been 2 of the last 3 years, won't be able to go this year, but if you can, make sure to enjoy it. Now, Barcelona has some big music concerts that take place every single year right in the city, and the summer in June is one of the big times for some of those. The first, and the one that's kicking it all off, is going to be Primava Sound, which has been running over here since 2001. This is a big mega event, usually held over at the Park of the Forum, but they do have some spin-offs like Primavera Ciutat and also Primavera Pro. This is going on from the 4th to the 8th of June in various different locations. And one of the cool things, if you want to get over to the CCCB for the Primavera Pro, you've got some free concerts, about 22 of them that are going on. This concert, like I said, goes on every single year. They tried to have it over in Madrid and expand and get really, really big, but there's nothing like a Barcelona Primavera Sound. You will notice a lot of people in the city at this time. The other super music festival that follows directly after Primavera Sound, running the 12th, 13th, and 14th of June, is Sonar. This has been running since 1994, and the big idea is a mix of the present into the future, that technology, digital music, and performance, all sorts of different things. It's kind of like this testing ground that takes place over at the Fira de Barcelona, right at the shore of Montjuïc. Now, you've got Sonar by day, Sonar by night, so you've got concerts all the time. But you've also got some conferences with Sonar Plus D, which is really getting into a lot more of that technology with the music. But you've also got AI and all of its new influences onto the music scene. And this year they're not just talking about ChatGPT, but different applications and things that can really bring up this music game. It's always something a little bit different, where Primavera Sound is a lot more of that pop and common music that you're going to be seeing. Sonar, a little bit different. You've also got off Sonar happening all around the city in venues throughout Barcelona. And running on some of the same days as Sonar, on the 13th and 14th of June, you've got Afterlife. And it's actually taking place in the same venue, that Circuit de Catalunya, that we saw the Formula One races taking place at. So if you want to get outside of the city and check out Afterlife, now you know where it is. And not starting until the end of the month, on the 24th of June, you've got the Alma Festival. This is taking place over at the Pobla Espanyol, which is a place that I always like to recommend. They've got all sorts of different concerts and festivals, activities and things throughout the year. It's a really cool venue that I've talked about in a bunch of different videos. But if you get over there at the end of June, you've got Camila Cabello, and you've also got Wilco from Chicago performing. Those are later in the evening. Those are things that you can take advantage after you've seen everything during Barcelona and getting over to see a pretty cool venue as well. Now, I'm not just going to talk about those concerts that are running through the month of June, but you can see how important they are to that summer schedule. But if you're looking for some other concerts to combine with a tourist visit and see some of the top things in Barcelona, two things that I always recommend, especially in the summer, are the Casa Batlló Magic Nights and the light show that they have at the Casa Milà or La Pedrera. These are two of Gaudi's most famous houses, two places that you're probably going to want to get to. And what they do in the evening is they combine a visit to the houses and then a concert on the roof. La Pedrera has that light show where you can see Gaudi's creations coming to life, connecting into that nature. And the Magic Nights over at the Casa Batlló are more sorts of different concerts for soul, pop, flamenco, all on the rooftop, getting a great view to the city. Like I said, you've got some great weather into the evenings, so you can be outside and take in the views with a historic venue. Now, June is the first month of the year that I can't talk about football or any of the games. You'll have just missed up the last of those, and hopefully we've got Barcelona in the Champions League final. But if you want to get over to Montjuïc, you've got two pretty big concerts that are going on in June as well. Get over to the Olympic Stadium on June 9th and you can see Guns N' Roses, and just next door on the 14th and 15th, you've got Billie Eilish. Now, in the month of June, there's not a bunch of holidays, but there is one that's pretty special and very local to just Barcelona. It's Pentecost Monday, Whit Monday, and that's on June 9th. Now, nothing big to note here, and you're not going to have to worry about any of the tourist attractions being closed, but you might find some shops, maybe some restaurants closed, and you might see, if you want to get over to any of the churches, you might see some of them closed for having some special masses on that day. Just keep that in mind. Now, because Easter was so late this year, that means that Whit Monday is being celebrated so late this year as well. It's always 50 days after Easter, which means 60 days after Easter, we've got Corpus Christi, which is always a fun one if you're in Barcelona to really celebrate. You don't have to do a whole lot, but in Barcelona, get around, especially to the Gothic Quarter, and you'll find the courtyards of some of the big places, like the cathedral and surrounding areas, that have a special celebration called L'Ou com Balla, or the egg, how it dances. Basically, it's just a bunch of floral decorations, but what they usually do is they take an egg that has been filled with wax and then sealed, and they place it on top of those fountains. And those fountains, what they do is that the egg just kind of dances right on the top. Because of the drought the last couple years and the fountains being off, we haven't been able to see them. They've had some kind of creative displays with some fake water and some fake eggs kind of sitting around on those fountains. But this year might be the first year in some time now that we're actually able to see it on full display. It's always one of my favorite things to see all the tourists walking around and having no idea what is going on with this egg, but it's basically representing the Eucharist. And this year, because they just turned the fountains back on, we might get to see it. And speaking of turning fountains back on, this isn't official, but what I did see on the website the other day is that magic fountain over at Montjuïc, which has been off as well for all over those 2 years, might be back on starting again this June. So for everybody that's been asking about when are we going to be able to see that magic fountain again, it might be June of 2025 when we get to see the magic fountain at the base of Montjuïc, the light show, the magic, the music all around, getting to start back up. So if you're here, take advantage. Now, one of the biggest things that I was mentioning before about June is that the weather is incredible. So everybody is out over at the beach, and one of the things that happens is it just gets absolutely packed. So it might not be the best place to be. But one thing that I've always found is that if you have a boat and you can get out onto the water, you can still see that beach, you can really take in the sun and have an even better time. So one of the things that you do need to do is get out onto the Mediterranean, see Barcelona from the water, and there's two ways that you can do that. The first is the Golondrinas, right at the base of the Ramblas, right where the Columbus statue is. You can jump on a boat and just in an hour tour, they'll take you through the port out into the front of Barcelona, out on the Med, and then come back around. Just an hour, about 12 euros, is a really good experience. But one of the things, if you want to have more of a private experience and have some more time out on the water with your group, maybe something a little bit more intimate, is getting a private boat rental. You've got catamarans and smaller boats that'll take you around and give you, one of the best things you can do is get a sunset tour. Boat Trip Barcelona is my recommendation if you're going to do one of those. I had a great time. Check out my video all about it, but it's one way to have a truly unique experience in Barcelona. And while we're talking about things you can do over on the beach, one thing you'll probably want to do is get a paella. My recommendation is always Chiringuito Escrivá, just up the coast, still in Barcelona on the beach. One of the first chiringuitos set up after the Olympics of 1992. You've got an incredible view with some great food. And if you're thinking about getting a sangria for something refreshing this summer, don't do that. Locals would never drink sangria. Drink a tinto de verano, half Sprite, half red wine. Really refreshing and really nice. Shout out to Mauro and Sylvia. Now, the biggest day of the month by far is June 24th, and this is going to be our one public holiday that we have in the month. It's the day of San Juan, but it really starts the night before on the 23rd. This is known as the Verbena, and so this is the celebration of that summer solstice. Yes, it does come a little bit late. It's not exactly the 21st of June, but it's celebrated as the shortest night of the year. So what everybody does in the city is they take advantage, really taking advantage of the fact that you don't have that long night and you can stay up all night. A lot of people are gonna get over to the beach. They're gonna celebrate with some bonfires. There are some other neighborhoods in the city that have their own bonfires as well. You've got fireworks all night, big concerts and things like this, but it is a really fun time. It always reminds me of some of my favorite memories when I just moved over to Barcelona and got to celebrate my birthday being just a few days before and then leading right into San Juan, the big summer holiday. It's just a night to get together. Really, everybody gets together with their friends and just spends the night having a great time. Now, after our big holiday on the 24th, and people are probably recovering the next couple days, on the 29th, you have the main day for San Pedra, which means you've got the Festa Mayor de Casc Antique. So this is our big neighborhood festival for the month. This is gonna be San Pedra, Santa Catarina, and La Ribera, what a lot of people always know as Elourne, the neighborhood just next to the Gothic quarter, across the street, across that Via Laietana. All sorts of different cultural traditions like the human towers, or especially that correfoc. I remember the last time that I was over there, just kind of randomly, I forgot that the festival was even going on. We ran across all of the fireworks and people running around, and it was a really cool experience. It is later at night, but it is something that gives you a little bit of a different experience over in that Born area, where you're probably gonna get over to anyway. Check out Santa Maria del Mar, the Picasso Museum, the Born Cultural Center, and everything around over there. But get over there at that end of the month, really over a week of traditions that are happening, and it's always a lot of fun. As you can see, June is a month filled with all sorts of events, activities, and festivals. And that's just the beginning. There's gonna be all sorts of little events that pop up on the weekends to fill the month. But now that you know what days the big activities are going on, you can get to planning. But if you're overwhelmed and don't know where to begin with all the other things that are going on in Barcelona, remember the Patrick Guide to Barcelona is out now and you can get it in the link below.